time resed. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a route. I'm going to show you how to make a route using the menu method. Okay, so once you have your anchor and your palette resed, edit your palette, go into the Contents tab, and open up those Move and Palette note cards. Those are the two that we're going to be working with.
I don't have a move card in mine.
You don't have a Move card. Oh, you may have an older version where the moves are on the palette note card. Look on the palette note card and see if there's a section that says moves, number of moves, initial offset. Do you see entries like that anywhere in it? Okay, is now on the moves note card for the updated palettes. So you'll just be putting yours on that palette note card, but in the places where I tell you for these entries. Does that make sense? Okay. Path, don't worry about it. She's on an older version is all, so you're fine. No, the moves note card is new. She doesn't have one. That's why she was confused. So you're fine. Okay. So open, those of you that have the newer versions of the palettes, open the moves and the palette note card. Sexy just has a version where she only has to open the one. Okay, so the first thing that you have to do is you have to tell the palette where its home position is. So, for example, with the spot on, when you make those, wherever your black ring is, that's the home position for the mover, right? So, but we have to tell the palette where we want it to start. Where do we want it to start at? And how you do that is entirely up to you. Everybody does it differently. So some people start their movers on stage. So your initial position or your home position would be wherever you want your mover route to start on stage. Other people, like me, I generally put my movers backstage, and then my first move is to zoom us onto the stage to our positions. And I did that simply because when I was dancing with other people, it was easier to have the movers backstage so that they could locate them instead of trying to have people camming around on stage trying to find the right mover. If it's just you, you can do whatever you want because you'll know what you're doing. Okay. Also, with Spot On, I generally started my markers backstage because you have to be on a mover in order to cash your dances and make sure everybody's moving. With Artiste, it's not like that. It's like a regular dance HUD. You can invite people and cash your dances, watch them to see if they're moving, etc., all without anybody standing on a mover. So that piece of it is not there anymore. Okay. Okay, so let's set up our initial position for our palette. If you look at the mover's note card, and for Sexy, this is going to be on your palette note card, but look for the entry titled Initial Offset. And it should look something like that. Okay. So to set up a home position, all you're going to do is move your palette anywhere you want. Don't move it a huge distance away, but just edit it and move it wherever you want. And feel free to use the theater if you guys want to start yours out up on stage, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. Just position it where you want, okay? And you just do that by editing it. Move it wherever you want. Say that's where I'm going to start. And then to set it, we're going to have to get that vector information. So you click on the palette and you get the blue menu. And when you get the blue menu, you'll see In the middle column, bottom row, there is a button that says Dump Initial. You're going to click that button and you're going to get some information from your palette in local chat that looks like this. Once you get that information, you're going to copy everything after the comma. Don't copy the initial offset, but just that vector information. You're going to copy that into that entry on your note card. So just copy and paste. So once you have that pasted, click Save on your Moves note card. And then you can either reset your palette or there's a Reload Moves button, which should reload your Move note card with the save changes. The Reload Moves is not on the old version. Okay, so Sexy would need to save hers and then reset. Okay. Okay. Does everybody have that piece of it done? Okay, so once you reset or saved or reloaded, whatever you did, then take your palette and edit it and just move it somewhere else. Doesn't matter where, just move it somewhere else. I don't see yours anywhere, Jess. Let me do an area search real quick and see if it. I'm not finding it on area search. Well, if you have it saved from the last class, then just press a fresh copy of it. I'm not sure what happened. Okay, so once you've moved it somewhere else, then click on your palette and get the blue menu again and click the Go Home button. And that should tell it to move back to that initial position that you just set. Okay, looked like it worked for a couple of you.
Mine disappeared.
Oh, I saw yours move, Sexy. I thought it. Well, there's Jess's.
Not sure where mine went.
Let me do a search and see if I can find yours. I thought mine disappeared, but mine just went invisible, so. Yours says it's 200 meters away, sexy.
Oh my.
I can't zoom to it, so I'm not sure where it's at.
What did I do?
I'm not sure what happened. I'm not finding it anywhere with a quick search just by looking. I mean, I know it's out there, but I'm not sure exactly where it's at. Well, she doesn't have the Moves note card, Yummy. She just has the palette one. Okay, so while she helped Sexy, did everybody else get it to work? Did it move back where it was supposed to? Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that part of it? Because setting up that initial home position is something that you're going to do each time you use your palette, unless you start in the same place on stage in every single routine. Okay, so that's something you'll have to do is just move it where you want it, do that dump initial, and then get those vectors, save it, reload that Moves note card, and then that'll be your home position. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to do a simple route with 3 moves. And I mentioned last time, when you use the menu method, which is what we're going to do today, there aren't any waypoints or markers to use. Like we're used to, I think most of us used to using spot on, like you see on stage behind me, and you have the waypoints that you work with, and so you have kind of a visual representation of where you're going to move and what your route is going to look like. It takes a little bit of getting used to not have that visual representation, but it's actually a lot faster to use the menu method, and that's why I'm showing it to you first. So with the menu method, all you do is move your palette around from point A to point B to point C, etc., and then put your movers, your information in the Moves note card. Okay? A few extra steps that you have to take, but it's really pretty simple. So if you plan to start your mover on stage, then your initial or home position would be wherever you want that to start. If you if you want to start your mover backstage, then your initial or home position would be backstage, and then your first move would be to wherever you want to end up to start dancing on stage. Okay? It's a little scary not to have that visual, Winnie, but actually it's so much easier once you get used to it. Okay, so your palette should be at the home position. So we're going to assume that's where you want your route to start, okay, just for illustration purposes. So yeah, you could just res prims if you need that visual yourself. There is a controller marker method that the Artiste has as well that's more like the waypoints, the kind of breadcrumbs. But once you do it this way, I don't know if you'll even want to know how to do that, so we'll see. I mean, I'm going to show it to you, but this way is so much easier. There's a few things that are a little different than Spot, but for the most part, it's a lot easier to do it this way, I think. And this is how I generally do it. Okay, so with your palette in its home position, click on the palette and get that blue menu, okay? And if you'll notice in the first column, third button down, it says Start Move, and right next to that, in the next column, there's a button that says End Move. And then if you look in the third column at the bottom, there's a button called Dump Move, okay? So those are the three buttons that we're going to be working with. So this is my initial position, and let me make my palette visible again so you guys can see it. So this is going to be my initial position. So let's say I want to move to the side. Okay, I'm just going to move to the side like that. So before you move your palette, press Start Move, because this is where you're starting from. Okay, you want the move to start here, whatever your home position is. So click Start Move. Then edit your palette and move it to wherever you want that move to end, whether that's up, back, side, down, behind, whatever you want to do, okay? When you move it to wherever you want that move to end, then click End Move. Now, the palette knows the vector information, how to get from point A to point B, but we have to get it and put it in the note card. So then we need to click on the button that says Dump Move. And again, what you'll see when you click on Dump Move is you'll see that vector information from your palette put into chat. Okay, and it'll look something like that. So again, you're going to do the same thing that we did with the initial position. You're going to copy all of that vector information in the brackets. Well, on this one, sorry, let me start over. Copy everything after the colon. So you're going to see Artiste Pallete, whatever you've named it, 01A, 57C, whatever. From the M to the 0, the last 0 is what you're going to copy. That's your move line, and that's what tells the palette what to do. Okay, so let me break down for you what this information means. Okay, and if you didn't get the notes out of the box, I encourage you to get them because I explain all this in the notes in case you forget. So the M01A simply means that it's a move, the M, and the O1A, or whatever yours happens to be, is the name of your palette, okay? So if your palette was named O1B or 57C, that's what you would see there, okay? The 3 is simply the default move time. If you look on your palettes or your move note card, which will be on the palette note card for you, Sexy, there's an entry that says default move time, and it is set at 3 seconds. You can change that if you want. I generally change mine to 1 and then just leave it like that. Okay, and that is just if you want the palette to move at a default. I generally am going to set my own move times anyway, so I just set mine to 1. That way I can have it be 1 if I want, or less. Okay, the numbers that follow the 3 in the brackets, those 2 sets of numbers are the vector information that tells the palette where to move to in relation to your anchor, okay? And that's why the anchor is important. So the first set of brackets are the position or direction vectors, and then the second set are the rotation information. So most of the time that second set is just going to be mostly zeros, okay? The none is where you would put the name of an animation if you had a specific animation you wanted to play for that move. We're not going to mess with that. That involves making sure that you have that animation loaded in the palette, and we're not going to do that for this class. But just be aware that that's an option for you. And then the 0 at the end is the same as the pause time or sleep time for spot on. So if you wanted to move and then pause in that spot, or wait in that spot for a certain amount of time, that's where you would put that information. Does everybody understand that? Oh, okay. Yummy's telling me that the vector information is also in relation to the previous move. So don't worry about it. Just understand that that's how the palette knows where it's going. You're never going to care what that says, really. Okay. Okay, so that's the explanation of what your move line looks like. Now, the names of your moves when you do this dump move, as you move your palette, start move, end move, dump move, the names will all be the same. They will all start with M01A or whatever the name of your palette is. You have a question, Pat? Well, if you look on the moves note card, there's the initial offset entry, and then directly under that is number of moves 0. You're going to put your cursor after the 0 and make a new line. And that's where you're going to put in your moves. Does that make sense? Let me put mine in here and I'll... Are you in the palettes note card or the moves note card? Yeah, it's in the moves note card. And why is his initial offset? Is that an old version again, that it's on the palette note card? Yeah, but I don't understand how he has initial offset on the palette note card because I don't in my version. My initial offset is in the moves note card. Oh, you put that in there? Okay, so take out the initial offset of the palette note card because you're going to confuse it because the initial offset and everything goes in the moves note card. Well, you probably got confused because that's where it goes for Sexy because she's got an older version, but for you it goes in the moves note card. So just copy that information for the initial offset into the moves note card and take it out of the palette note card. And then once you've edited and moved your first line and you copy that into the moves note card, it'll look like that. So you'll have the number of moves 0 and then the next line will be that first move that we made. Okay. Okay. Everybody following me so far? Got your first move in the moves note card? Okay. So to make a second move, we're going to do the exact same thing. Because of course we want our moves to be in order, and point A to point B, and then our move 2 from B to C. So B is now the start point. So your palette shouldn't move. Get your blue menu, hit the Start Move button, edit your palette, move it wherever you would like, hit the End Move button, and then hit the Dump Move button. And you should, again, get that vector information that you will then copy into the Moves note card under the line that you just put in. Okay? Once you've done that, I want you to do a third move. So again, leave your palette in that end spot, hit Start Move, move it somewhere you want, hit End Move, then hit Dump Move. Yes, Winnie, exactly. Except that we're gathering them as we go. So once you have 3 moves, 3 lines of moves in your Moves note card, let me know. Does everybody else have 3 moves in their mover note card? Okay. Once you have 3 moves in your mover note card, you've got those 3 lines of moves, okay? The zeros at the end, you can leave them as 0 or you can change them into a couple seconds wait. Don't make them more than 2 or 3 seconds if you're going to change them, but at least change one of them just so you can see what it does. I'll make mine a bit bigger so you can see what it is, okay? You can change one or you can change all 3, it doesn't matter, just don't make them huge. Make those wait times, pause times huge, okay? So now that we're all done moving our palette, let's say that that's the end of our route. We have 3 moves. So in order for the palette to actually move, we have to tell it how many moves to do. We have 3 lines, so we need to change that 0 at the end of the number of move lines to 3. Okay? And you do that however many moves you have. Like if I had a route that had 7 moves, then my number of moves would be 7, etc., etc. Okay? So once you have your 3 lines of moves in there and you've changed your number of moves entry to 3, save your note card, and then you can reload on page 2, reload the moves note card if you have that, or Sexy will just have to reset hers. Okay. What happened, Path? Well, I see 2 anchors res that are both named Artiste Anchor, so it probably got confused. That's why we renamed them last time, so that the palette wouldn't get confused. Okay, just res another copy of your palette, and then look in your palette note card and see what you named the anchor. I think you named it Past Artiste Anchor, and then you just need to change the name on your anchor, and then do those steps again, okay? And I'll help you here in a second. I'm going to show everybody else. You're fine. Okay, so once you have your 3 moves made, then you save your mover note card or your palette note card, reset or reload. Once you do that, it should return to the home position, okay, whatever you set as that initial position. So click on the palette, and there is a button that says Test All Moves. And if you click on that, it should run through all of your moves, and you can see what your route is going to look like. Now, when you do this, it's just like running any other mover route. If you have any pauses or wait times in there, it will demonstrate, it will wait that amount of time. That's why I told you not to make them very big. Yes, I got that error too, Zed. It's because we're not sitting on it. It won't hurt anything. It's just because we're not actually sitting on it when we're moving it. Okay? So tell your palette to go back home if you moved it. And then I'll show you. So I'm going to sit on mine. And Yummy has also added in, if you're using these with somebody else and their position is not quite right, you can now use the page up and page down keys to move yourself, just like you can with the spot movers, so we don't have feet in the floor, etc. So now I'm sitting on the palette. If I hit Test All Moves, I don't get that script error. Okay, and I put a little pause on my second move, so it's pausing and then going to the third one. Okay, so if your palette successfully moved, ta-da, you made a mover route. Oh yeah, when you set on a palette, you have to be wearing the same group tag as the group that the palette was resed under, or you'll get that error, okay? Which shouldn't be an issue because most of the time you're going to be resing under the dance group of whatever venue you're at, and you generally have a tag to let you do that, so you shouldn't have that group error issue when you're actually performing. Okay? And that's all there is to it. That's all you do to make a route. You literally just move your palette to where you want, Start, move, move the palette, end, move, dump, move. Start, move the palette, end, move, dump, move. And repeat until your route is finished. Okay? Aha, I'm so glad you asked, Lil, because that's the next topic. Because turns are different with Artiste, okay? They're not hard, they're just different. And so I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you guys because that was a source of frustration for me in going from spot on to Artiste. And it wasn't until someone said to me, well, it's because of this. And I went, oh, I get it now. Okay. So and I made a little spot on route so that you could see it here. When you make a spot on route, what most of us are used to is that there isn't a specific turn, right? Let me find my HUD real quick so I can make this go. What we're used to doing is you point your waypoints in the direction that you want to face, right? And we have to remember that it's the waypoint ahead. So here I just made a little square route, and you'll see what basically happens is that you turn and then move. So I'm facing front, and then I immediately turn left to go to the yellow one, okay? Everybody understands how that works, right? Because most of you use spot on, okay? And so that's what you're used to doing. With Artiste, the turn is a separate move, okay? So if I wanted to turn, then you have to actually tell the palette to turn. So it gives you more control, I think, but it also takes a bit of getting used to think in terms of making yourself move like that. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. One moment. Sorry about that. Okay, so you get a lot more control with Artiste because you can make that turn a separate move. Camera is being a jerk today. Hang on. There we go. Okay. So for turns, because it's a separate thing, you're not going to move as you turn. You're going to turn and then move, which is sort of the same thing that Spot does, except that with the Artiste, you can tell it when you want it to turn. With Spot On, you only get the turn at the beginning of the move. You turn and then move. You turn and then move. That's the only option. With Artiste, I can move, then turn if I want to. So it gives you more control. So because you get more control, you have to tell it how to do that. So a turn is a special kind of move. So the way that you would do that is that you would enter a special line on your note card. And again, this is in the notes for you guys, okay? So a move that is a turn looks like this. It's different than the moves that you get for the palette that we do with the menu method because it doesn't have the vector information. We're simply telling the palette to turn a direction or to turn a number of degrees, okay? So it's similar in that you see the M, it's a move, but it's a special kind of move, it's a turn. The O1A to tell it whatever kind of palette, what your palette is named. The 0.4 is the number of time in seconds that you want the turn to take. A natural looking turn, Yummy has found that 0.4 works pretty well. You can make it slower if you want. You can make it a little bit faster, but you're limited to that 0.2 minimum. Okay. The turn tells the palette that it's a special move, a turn. The L You can tell the palette to turn right, you can tell the palette to turn left, or you can tell the palette to turn a certain number of degrees, and you can use positive or negative numbers. So if you're facing front, for example, you could tell it to turn right or turn left, whichever you want. Say you're facing front and you want to turn and face back. Maybe that's the end of your routine and you're going to turn and walk back off the stage, let's say. Okay, so you would have the number of degrees would either be 180 or negative 180. Either one of those would work, okay, to get you turned facing the other direction. The VAWE turn left is the name of a specific turn animation that you might want to play while you're turning. That one just happens to be the name of one that I stole out of one of my AOs. But if you're going to do that, you have to make sure it's loaded into the palette, okay? There is already a turn animation loaded into the palette for you called Turn Me that you can use. You can set this to none if you're going to include your turn animation as part of your dance sequence. So several options for you there. And then that final 0 is the pause or wait time, the sleep time, just as it is with the regular move. Okay, so I'm going to add in a 180 turn at the end of my route here, just so you guys can see what it looks like. Now, remember that because the turn is actually a move, you have to include that in the number of moves. So I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then I want you to try and add a turn as the last move on your moves note card. Okay. So there's my first move. There's my second move. I'll go over it again in a second, Zed. I have a pause here. I'll move to my third spot, and then I should turn and face 180 degrees away. Ta-da! And it's that simple to add in a turn. Okay, so just to recap, if you want to add in a turn, it's considered a move, okay? You put in a line in your moves note card that looks like that. So my palette happens to be named O1A, so whatever the name of your palette is. The 4.4 seconds is the number of seconds you want the turn to take. The turn tells the palette it's a turn. The L tells the palette to rotate either right or left, or you can tell it to rotate a number of degrees. For example, I put in a negative 180 so that it would turn me around 180 degrees. The VAWE turn left is the name of the specific animation you want to use. If you don't want to use a specific animation, then you can leave it as none. So if you did that, I'll show you an example with degrees and none. Okay? And then if you had a wait time, otherwise you'll have that 0 at the end. And remember, when you add in the turn, that counts as a move, so you'll need to increase the number of moves from 3 to 4 on your move palette, on your moves note card. Okay? And you can turn any number of degrees you want. If you want to turn completely around, of course you can do the 180. If you want to turn 45 degrees, if you want to turn 90 degrees, however you want to do it. You just have to tell the palette what you want it to do. I've never tried upside down. Is that possible, Yummy? Yeah, so if you wanted to do a full circle, you would do 2 180s. And, Winnie, you can specify the amount of time that it takes. So if you wanted to do a really slow turn, you can do that. If you want to do a really quick turn, you can do that too. So once you try adding in a turn as your last move, remember you'll have to save your moves note card with the new information. Make sure you change the number of moves from 3 to 4. Save, reload the note card, and then test it out. So if you guys have a handle on that and you're feeling good, that's all we're learning for today. For homework, you get homework this week. I want everybody to create a palette route that has 4 moves and 1 turn. Did you hit go home, Winnie, to start over? And then tell it to move? Okay. So again, for homework, 4 moves and 1 turn move. And you can put it in any order. If you want to turn first and then have 4 more moves, if you want to stick the turn in the middle, yes, 5 moves total, including a turn. Okay, but I want one of the moves to be a turn. So if you feel like you've got a handle on it, you are free to go. If you have questions or you need help, I will stick around so that everybody knows what they're doing. Okay? And make sure for next week you're going to need that same anchor and that same palette. Okay? So, or whichever one you use to make your moves, but okay? And I'll have you each demonstrate. You have a question, Zed? The minimum move time is 0.2, just like it is with Spot. It's just a minimum, so it's that's what it is with Spot too. So it's just 0.2. I just assume that's an easy frame of reference because most of us have used it. Not all of us, but some of us. Mm-hmm. And honestly, 0.2, if you're starting out on stage, it's not really that big of an issue. Most of the time, you're not going to need to move any faster than that anyway. Okay, so like I said, that's all I had on the agenda for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to stick around and Yummy and I will answer them. Um, if you think you've got a handle on everything, you're free to go. If you need me to stay and work with you, then I'm happy to do that. Well, I see a couple of things wrong. Does anybody know why that one wouldn't move? So yeah, if you notice, you can't, when you're using a palette mover, the moves have to be named in that format, the Artiste Palette underscore some number from 01 to 99 underscore a letter from A to H or Z, okay? If you're going to use it as an avatar mover, it has to follow that naming for the palette itself. And when you get moves, that's how your moves will look. It'll be an M for move, and then it will be whatever you have named your palette. Okay, oops, that should have been a capital A. Okay, so whatever you've named your palette, you don't want to rename it, okay, when you get the moves information. Right, whatever you get when you use the menu to get the vector, you shouldn't change it, okay? Yeah, where did that come from? Oh, see, Winnie, when I look at your palette, you've named it Wynn's Artiste Palette. You can't put anything in front of it. It just has to be Artiste Palette underscore numbers underscore letter. You can rename your anchor, you can't rename the palette itself. Not when you're using it as an avatar mover. So try changing the name of your palette. Just get rid of the Wynn's and make it Artiste Palette 01B and then try that again. You may have to reset it in order for it to recognize your change. Yes, Zed, you can call it something else if you're using it as an object mover. You can name it whatever you want. As long as nothing is sitting on it, then it doesn't matter what you call it. But if you're going to use it as an avatar mover and an avatar is going to sit on it, it has to follow that naming format. You can name it whatever you want. I have done, let's see, what have I used lately? I have a burlesque hoop, circus hoop. You can name them whatever you want. Something descriptive so you know what they are. Okay? Okay, so again, for homework, total of 5 moves, 4 moves, and a turn. And that's what we'll start off with, a little show and tell for the next class. Okay? So, who needs help? Yeah, Zed made me a script called Ham and Beans one time. Maybe it was ham and eggs, not ham and beans. I forget. Ham and something. Okay, so does anybody have any questions? Did you reset the palette, Winnie? Well, I show that yours is the 57C Artiste Anchor Path. So you mean to get it to show above in the hover text to show the right name? Yeah, click on it and get the menu and reset it if you want it to show that 57C. I love how it's just making up names though. Next week's class, I'm going to show you how to make a route, but we're going to use the controller marker method, which is more like the spot on with the waypoints so that you get that visual. And there's a few little things that you can do that make it a little bit easier um, for turning and facing and those kind of things that Yummy has built in. But again, honestly, I don't use it. I use the menu method just because it's easier. Unless you really, really need the visual of having the waypoints laid out, it's easier just to use the menu method. But I'm going to show you how to do both, and then you can decide for yourself. And then after that, that'll be the end of the intermediate class. And then I'm going to have to get with Yummy and hopefully she or I or both of us are going to offer some kind of one-off, here's what you can do with a palette extra stuff, because you can do so much more with it than just moving. It does all sorts of fancy things. So don't worry, we'll be still doing stuff on Sundays, but this will get all the work part out of the way and then we can work on fun stuff. Hopefully by the end of this class, then you'll have enough that you can use the HUD and the palette and do your routines with the artiste. Well, I hope there's fun. Yeah, we talk about faders, resers, particles, fun things like grow and shrink and shatter and throw. Some of those are pretty advanced, so Yummy will be doing some of those, but that's the plan anyway. But just the HUD and the palette as a mover gives you some options to do some really cool things. And I have another couple of performances that I'm going to kind of deconstruct for you guys, like I did with the winter one that I put up on Yummy's blog, to show you how I did it and what my note cards look like so you guys can see it. So that'll be coming up in the next couple weeks. It didn't help you, but it was interesting. Well, okay. Woohoo! Hey, coming back there, Winnie. We can sell a seat. Okay. Path, how are you doing? Oh, Path. Just take it slow. Did you set your home position yet? Your initial position? And it can be frustrating, but sometimes having to do it more than once makes you learn, okay, I won't do that again. I did a lot of that when I first started using this system. Yeah, just one second. Sorry, I didn't want to cough in your ear. Yeah, set the home position as that initial. So move it to where you want the home position to be and then do that dump initial and put that in your moves note card. And I didn't spend a lot of time going over this, but if you guys will play around with your palette menu, there's an edit move so that you can pick a move that you want to edit. If you need to change something, you can do the test all moves if you want to test it out. Um, explore some of those other menus and see. Oh, I forgot rotate and tip. Those are also things that come in handy. Woohoo! Although I do notice on a couple of your moves, Winnie, you're missing the final 0. There should always be a number at the end of your move line because that's your sleep time. Yeah, well, and if it worked, clearly it doesn't matter, but if you're going to have a sleep time, then that's important. Otherwise, your moves won't work the way you want. But you got it to work, so yay. Okay, Path, did you get your home part set? Okay, so then all it is start move, move your palette to wherever you want the next position to be. So start move, move the palette, end move, dump move. Okay, and you copy that and put it in your moves note card under number of moves. Okay, did you reload the moves note card? I saw it move. Is that what you thought it was going to do? Is it at the home position now? Okay, so it's at home position. Did you make sure on your moves note card to change your number of moves? If you just have one in there, you need to make sure you put number of moves 1. Okay, so if you've done all that, then click your palette menu and click test moves and it should move that move. Did you delete it or did it disappear? Okay. Thank you, Jess. Okay. Bye, Winnie. Thanks for coming. If you guys have any questions during the week, just send me an IM. They go to my email, so if I have my phone, and I almost always do, then I can answer you even if I'm not in world. Just go ahead and res another one path. I know it's annoying. Go through those steps again. Don't hit quick test. Hit test all moves. So bye, Zed. Thanks. Okay, show me what your moves note card looks like, Path. Okay, thanks for coming, Lil. All of it. You need all of that into the Moves note card. What do you mean by edit the note card after all the moves you save, Sexy? You mean can you edit your move after you've made the route?
Yeah, say like I have 5 moves I want to do, and I don't want to keep editing it, move it, say move dump or whatever, and then put the, can I do that all at once? Like,
You mean
not having,
move, 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 and then just dump at the end?
no, I would get my, the dump move so that it
Mm-hmm.
records the information that I need for the note card.
Mm-hmm.
But can I wait to edit the note card until after I'm done with my route?
Oh, and then just instead of copying, moving, copying, moving, do move, 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 and then copy, 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 copy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever, I mean, the note card, the palette doesn't care. It's just going to do the moves in the order that you put them in the note card. So, yeah, as long as you make sure that you're doing the dump move so that you're getting that vector info after each move, how you copy them, whether you copy them as you go or wait until the end and then copy them all in there, as long as they're in the right order, it shouldn't make any difference.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hmm. Okay, Path, how you coming? Well, I'm going to get you further than that, so tell me where you're at. You got the initial home position set up. Did you get your moves in the move note card? Okay, so before you tell it to do anything, show me your moves note card and let me look at it. Okay, that's fine. Just once you get your moves in it, save the note card, but then copy it so I can see it and let me look at it before you actually tell the palette to do anything. Okay. Okay, so you've got your initial offset position in there, but I don't see any moves loaded yet. Okay, so it looks good so far. So click the palette, get the menu, hit Start Move, edit the palette, move it to wherever you want to, then click End Move, and then click Dump Move. And then after you get that vector information, copy that underneath the line that says number of moves 0. And then change your number of moves to 1 and save your note card. Okay. Okay, that looks good. So save your note card and then reload moves via the menu. And then after you reload moves, tell it to go home. Oh, poop. I missed that, Yummy. Yep, that's my fault, Path. No, you didn't. You didn't change number of moves. It's number of moves 0. So it's not going to go anywhere because basically you're telling the palette there are no moves in it. So you need to change where it says number of moves 0 to number of moves 1. Okay, so once you change that to a 1, then save your note card again, reload your moves. Okay, once you've got your moves reloaded, for you, yes, sexy. Oh, um, reset, if you got the updated one, reset is different than reload. If you go to the page 2 of the menu, there's a button that says reload moves. Did it move, Path? When you hit the test all moves? Oh, sexy is just zooming everywhere. I like that champion pose at the end, Yummy. They're all ta-da! Number of moves 1. Okay, sexy. Thanks for coming. Okay, that looks good, Path. So save the note card, reload it, and then tell the palette to go home. Path, show me your palette note card. Okay, I was thinking maybe it was the anchor name that was wrong, but I don't understand why it keeps disappearing. Did it disappear on you again? Okay, before you do anything, you just rezzed a new copy, right? Okay, before you do anything else, reset your palette. Okay, so it didn't disappear, so it's recognizing your anchor. Okay, so now set, yeah, there's a default in there that it tells it where to go into relation to the anchor. It's fine. Now you can do the reset, or I mean set initial position. So if you want to move it or if you just want to leave it where it is for the home position, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to shut off voice so I can take these headphones off. Okay. Okay. Thank you everybody for coming.